Hey fam, welcome to another episode of Good, Bad, and Ugly about real estate with Jose. Have you ever wondered what you would do if you had a coach that could teach you processes and systems? Have you ever tried to get into real estate and just not know where to start? Did you always wish you had an accountability partner or somebody to hold, not necessarily hold your hand, but kind of show you the ropes and get you through those hurdles in your progress? Well, if you like and subscribe to this channel, I'll bring you that and more. But my next guest is going to show you how he helps people with their journey on real estate using processes and systems. So, welcome to the stage, my friend Jeffrey Ma. Hey, Jeffrey, how you doing, bud?
Hey, Jose. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad we had a chance to make this happen. I know you got a lot to offer. So, without further ado, can you share everybody your journey on real estate? How did you got it? What made you get involved in it, and where are you at today?
Wow. Such a loaded question, right? How
Of
did I get
course,
started in real estate?
can't be simple with me, man.
um, it was one of those things where it's just like, okay, you know what? I needed to make a change. I needed to make a difference. My original background is the restaurant industry. Grew up in the family business. I used to sleep underneath the cash register when I was little. Parents parents were working all the time, and in fact, we have two Chinese restaurants. And if you know anything about Chinese restaurants, we never close. 365. Fortunately, we're not 24 hours a day, right? But we're still
Almost close, right?
almost closed, right? We are open 7 days a week, and I saw mom and dad work so hard, and something needed to change. And long story short, right? It was just we lost our home back in 2008. And it's just like, and then I got sucked into the restaurant business because we were just surviving. That's all we were doing. For 10 years was an uphill battle of just trying to make ends meet, pay the bills, maybe make a little extra money to for us, but we never go on vacation. It was just pure survival. And I'm just like, this is no way to live a life. It's just like this can't be it. And I went to a 3-day real estate event, and it was Fortune Builders. If you guys know Fan Merrill, my real estate system works in your city. And I went to it, and I man, it blew my mind. I learned so much from a little bit of wholesaling. They just talked about it, right? To fixing and flipping, to buy and hold. I'm like, wow, you can make this kind of money. I've never seen four digits on a check, right? My parents were paying me cash underneath the table, but I was making a few $100 a week, and that was it.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this has got to be it. But then they dropped the price, and it was like, oh, $50,000. I don't have that kind of money. Then what about your parents? Like, we just lost our house. My parents cashed in their 401ks, their retirements, their life insurance plans. We didn't have anything. We had zero in savings. The only thing that we had was the restaurant.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? Maybe this wasn't for me. And then years went by. So we lost home in 08. 2016, my friend reached out to me. He's like, hey, do you want to get your real estate license? And I'm like, the gears are turning again. I'm like, yes. I want to get my real estate license, not because I want to be a real estate broker, because I didn't know how else to get into real estate.
Right.
And I'm like, well, how much is it? Because like, man, I'm kind of broke here. I really don't have the money. He's like, oh, don't worry. It's a Groupon crash course for $367, which I still didn't have the money. I still had to ask mom for her credit card. And,
Sure.
you know, thankfully, she was just like, yeah. She didn't want me in the restaurant business either because the amount of time, blood, sweat, and tears, just the effort and everything that went into the restaurant, she didn't want that life for me. She's like, yeah, go, here's my credit card, get your real estate license, and bam. The next thing I know, I took my 90-hour course, I passed the test, and I am a full-fledged real estate broker. And I'm like,
Woo!
woo, this is it. It. 2 years went by and I didn't close a single fucking deal.
Wow.
I was still in the restaurant full time. and trying to figure out how can I get this real estate thing off the ground. Like, and there was so many things I didn't know. I didn't learn. I thought it was very transactional, right? In the restaurant business, you come in, you eat your food, you pay your bill, and you leave. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. And I was
Right.
thinking the same thing when it came to real estate. It's like, okay, cool. I'll show you the place. If you like it, you sign a contract, I earn a commission. No one taught me how to build relationships. No one taught me, and like how they don't even teach you how to write a contract.
Right.
No one taught me about nurturing relationships. No one taught me personal development. No one taught me of like figuring out why I'm even in real estate. It was just like all I thought was I need to make money. I need to make money. I need to make money. So all I did was work, 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 and was entering into that business with a survival mindset. Just work, and eventually you'll figure something out along the way. But no, that's the wrong way to go about it. And it wasn't until 2018 that I finally closed my very first deal, which was my mom, which is actually this house that you're seeing right now. We After 10 years as a family, we were finally able to buy another house.
Oh, nice.
And it was the first check I've ever seen with 4 digits. It was almost, it was like 3,800 some bucks. I was like, wow, I have never seen that much money at one time in my own account. And I'm like, this is it, right? Restaurants started picking up. Restaurant was starting to do pretty good. I was literally taking the money I was making in the restaurant business to buy Zillow leads at the time,
Okay.
and I like again, I didn't know what I was doing. I was literally wasting money away. Like Zillow leads are not cheap; they are expensive, and I was buying the cheapest ones. It was like $100 per lead, and they weren't that great. Definitely weren't that great, but through perseverance, I finally closed one deal, closed the second deal, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm finally getting this. It's starting to make some sense. And then 2020 happens, and shit hits the fan. And I'm like,
Sure.
oh my god, we're going back into the same routine that like where we're about to lose everything again. Where the restaurants are we can't operate in the restaurants. Thankfully, I could still operate as a real estate agent, but I really only had maybe 2 years worth of experience, even though I got my license in 2016.
Right.
And I was still working full time in the restaurant. I was hustling. I was washing dishes, driving DoorDash to make ends meet, going on showings. And again, I was in that mindset of just like, man, something has to change. Something's got to change. And that's when I stumbled upon Jamil Damji's course, which was astro flipping, which was wholesaling. I'm like, okay. At that time, it was still the genie, the blue genie, if anyone remembers those. And
I do.
I'm like, whatever. Something has to change. I max out my credit cards. I joined this program. 6 months went by. I finally get to close my first wholesale deal. I'm like, this is it. This is the actual entryway for me to start investing in real estate, which was the original purpose of me getting into real estate.
So was that 4 digits or was that 5 digits?
That was 4 digits. No, 4 digits. Yes, well, it was four
Okay.
digits. But it was 4 digits that was all mine. I didn't have to split commissions. I
There
didn't
you
have
go.
to give a piece to the brokerage. It was all mine. And I was like, you know what? This is it. And that was the path. That started me down this journey. But along the way, the thing that really got me to have success was truly personal development.
Yeah.
It was getting myself to do the work that I didn't feel like doing. It was implementing systems rather than just pure hustle. See, that was the big turning point for me because I saw my parents work hard, hard, hard. And like nobody had a work ethic problem, but we had a systems problem.
Sure.
And instead of just working super hard, I wasn't thinking about how can I implement systems in order to improve how I do business. Not only just physical or digital systems, but a system of thinking, a system of how you approach your day, a system of how you approach your business, a system of how you approach conversations. It's something we don't truly think about. We're always wanting to find something outside of us that can automate it to make our lives easier, not realizing We're the ones that need to automate and update ourselves in order to make things easier. And then the systems outside of us, those just help you scale. Those just help you grow as a business. But you as an individual, the only person that can help you grow as an individual is you.
Right.
Like you have to make that decision. You have to take that leap of faith of like, you know what? Hard work alone is not going to get me to where I need to be. I need to start deprogramming, deprogramming myself in order to actually start implementing different systems to elevate myself.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
So the system that you use, is this what you got from Jameel, or is this something that you like started to develop as you realized that that was your missing ingredient?
This is something I started to develop going through so many different programs, not only through Jamil's, but like other personal development programs. I mean, from Tony Robbins to Myron Golden to the sales training to like Russell Brunson's courses. Like it's like learning how everyone approached the business in different matters, but everyone always talked about, mindset and everything. But to me, it's not just mindset, it's creating a system that allows you to implement the things that you want to do. Mindset alone is super important. I think everything starts within the mind, but then how do I actually manifest it or materialize it into actual real action, into real results?
Right.
And one of the big things that was always taught to me, right? Find your why. You have to have a strong enough why you could figure out how. And I thought I had a strong why, right? My why was I don't want to be broke. I want to have control of my life. I want to retire my parents. I want to live a better life. There's no way working 7 days a week, 365 days a year is a way to live.
Some people live that way, don't they?
They do. They do. But what I needed to realize is that I was worthy of those things. I was worthy of a better life. Most of us that are operating in survival mode, we want things, we want a better life, but sometimes we don't feel like we deserve it.
Sure.
And it's really up to us to start to prioritize our life. But what I've developed is designing a system that starts prioritizing you and your business and your dreams and your goals. Because if you can't just work your way to do it, you actually have to start creating the life that you truly want.
Right.
And that's when the universe starts to conspire with you. When you Yeah. So, one of the things that I always like to share, right, is I actually did learn this from Tony Robbins, which was the OWN framework that I've developed. If you guys are familiar with Tony Robbins, he calls this his RPM framework, which is results, focus, purpose driven MAP, which is massive action plan. I call mine the OWN framework, which is the outcome, why, and your next steps. I like to simplify things. Make
Sure.
it a little bit simple, right? How can you own your day? How can you own your time? How can you own your conversations? How can you own your future, right? It's what having the end in mind, which is thinking about the outcome that you're looking to achieve, why it's important. So you have an emotional attachment as to the goal that you're trying to achieve, and then figuring out the actual next steps.
Gotcha.
Most of us are just thinking about what is on our to-do list. If you're if you're just looking at what's on your to-do list, you're just reacting to what other people want you to do or to your environment or to your circumstances. When you're reacting, you are acting in survival mode. When you are creating or designing, you are proactive. You are operating in a different energy, a different mindset, right? With having the outcome in mind. This is the big switch that I needed for myself because I was just thinking like, what do I need to do? What do I need versus what do I truly want?
Right.
Especially in the restaurant business, especially in survival mode, especially if you are operating with low finances. You're thinking about, I need money to cover expenses. I need money to put food on the table. I need money to pay for rent, to pay the mortgage.
Right.
And when you're acting from what I need, which is you're reacting again, you're not operating in abundance, you're operating in scarcity, survival mode. So to make that switch, we need to start being proactive and start designing a life, a schedule, a plan that actually going to prioritize ourselves. That's going to prioritize our dreams and our hopes. But most of us aren't doing that. We're not taking the time to intentionally plan what's truly meaningful to us. We're just thinking about, I need to make more money, or I need to lose weight, or I need to find more time. It's like, no, no, no. All those things you create. You create a schedule that gives you more time. You create a plan that's going to generate more money. You're going to create a plan that's going to help you lose more weight.
Right.
You're not just going to, it's not going to happen just because you want it or need it or want it to. It's because you have to plan intentionally. And that's where I come in. It's to really get you to focus on what truly matters. And then I'm going to take you through what I call as my creator framework, which are really skill sets or pillars, right? CREATOR. C standing for clarity. We really have to get clear on what we truly want. Most of us have an idea. I want to be a multimillionaire. Great. That's not clear enough because we know it's not money that we truly want. It's the things that money can help us achieve or give us or purchase or, right? It's not the actual money that we want. We want more time freedom. We want more moments with our family. We want to experience new things. Right? It's not the actual money. It's the things that money can get us.
Right.
Right. So I go through it, which is, what do you want? Why do you want it? But more importantly, who do you need to be? Because the reason why you don't have the things that you want in your life is not because you're not working hard enough. It's because you're not being the person that you need to be that's going to attract those things in your life.
Awesome.
R stands for rhythm. I used to think, right, very, very much survival mindset. It's got to hustle, hustle, hustle. You got to work, work, work. But I was working and burning out. I was working and I didn't have purpose or meaning. I was working just to achieve things because that's what I thought I needed to do. Rhythm thinks about how to get into flow, how to create momentum for yourself. With momentum, this is when you're like, I'm in flow. I don't want to mess this up. I have consistency. I've been hitting the gym consistently. I've been making my calls consistently. I've been creating content consistently. And you kind of create this rhythm, this flow where you don't want to get off, right? When you're listening to a good song and that song keeps going, you don't want it to end. You want to
Right.
you want to keep the flow. You want to keep the rhythm going. So clarity is for direction, rhythm is for momentum, energy, E, is for execution. Energy is the currency of execution. If you don't have the energy to do what you need to do, doesn't matter if you have time. You're just going to sit there and procrastinate. You're going to sit there and doom scroll. You're going to sit there and not actually focus on the thing that truly matters. So energy is not only about how to get more energy, it's also protecting yourself. It's about eliminating distractions so you can actually focus on what truly matters. A is alignment. A is for power. Alignment is power. It really is. When you are in congruency with yourself, when what you think, say, and do are all in alignment, man, the amount of confidence that you have, the discipline that you gain, the self-esteem that you have, you feel unstoppable. You feel like, nah, I am living my purpose, I am living my dream, I am on track. Even when it comes to the little things, when you told yourself you were going to go to bed at a specific time and you go to bed at that specific time, that has significant impact, even when we don't think about it. When we're like, you know what, I'm not going to eat a late night snack. I'm not going to grab that ice cream bar. I'm not going to eat that last piece of chocolate, right? Those little things matter. Right? Small wins lead to big victories. So every
There
time
you
you're in
go.
alignment with who you are, what you think, and what you do, that just adds fuel to your power. That, right? It truly is magic. I think when you're in alignment, that's the real magic you're looking for, right? T
Right.
is T is time. Time is mastery. When you can master your time, you can master your life. This is one of those things that we struggle with, right? How many of us create a calendar, we set a schedule, and we don't stick to it? Mm, right. I, I am one of those people too, but so again, progress over perfection. We want to create, we want to really honor our time. So this is about being very cognizant of how we're spending our time and actually how long it takes us to actually complete things.
Right.
You're familiar with Parkinson's law?
Refresh my memory.
All right, Parkinson's law, and I might butcher it a little bit, right? Is if you give yourself the allotted time to complete something, that's how long it's going to take you.
Yeah.
Right. If you give yourself 8 hours to clean the house, it's going to take you 8 hours to clean the house. If you give yourself 1 hour to clean the house, you'd be surprised. You could probably get it done in 1 hour, right? But that
Yeah.
requires energy and focus to really get it done.
Isn't it like a Dan Martell uh, thing? It sounds so familiar.
Dan
I'm gonna,
Martell actually talks about it, but
yeah.
Parkinson's law is something that Dan Martell talks about,
Okay.
right?
I knew it sounded familiar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Then O is ownership, and ownership is about for control. This is about taking control of the things that we need to take control of, right? So again, C, clarity is for direction, rhythm is for momentum, energy is for execution, alignment is for power, time is for mastery, ownership is for control. There's a lot of things that we need to start taking ownership for. Stop giving power to things outside of us that dictate our actions within.
Right.
And then R is realization. When you are mastering these 6 letters, you are
Right.
realizing the life that you want. You're manifesting the life that you want. So that's my creator framework. That's my OWN framework. Those two things alone should help you really get yourself to a place where I am the creator of my reality, which is core, COR, creator of reality,
Nice.
which is
Love
also
it.
Latin for heart, which is also the root word for courage. And courage, in its earliest forms, was to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart.
I love it.
Right. And to me, right, it's like courage was not only about doing things in the face of fear, it was about being you. It was about you speaking your mind, you doing things from the heart. That's what courage was. So it's just like, how many of us have softened our own voice for the things outside of us, right?
Right.
So core is about getting back to you, who you are as an individual, and then you actually living up to that person that you need to be.
Yeah.
So you can create the life that you want. So you can be the master of your destiny or the creator of your reality.
I love it. I love it. After you learned this framework, I mean, I'm sure you put it to work. Can you share with us, a good story of after you learned this framework and you used it, and then maybe a bad story that you had prior to you
Oh yeah.
using the framework?
Yeah, like in the very beginning, like starting just a real estate business in itself, right? I was working a lot, but I wasn't having the progress or the success that I was looking for because I wasn't truly focused on what truly mattered to me. I was giving my time for energy. And he was like, "Hey Jeffrey, can you take a look at this deal? Hey Jeffrey, do you want a coffee meeting? Can we how many coffee meetings have you had that went to nowhere?" Right? How many times have you looked at other people's deal by trying to help them out and it went to nowhere? How many times are you saying yes to other people's agendas and not your own?
Right.
And once I really start to prioritize my goals, my dreams, things started to shift. One of the big turning points was end of 2021. I went to the Clever Summit Cody Sperber in Vegas. I remember it was Jamil Damji, Pace Morby, Cody Sperber, and Dan Fleshman on the stage, and they were just doing like a speaker panel, answering questions from the crowd. I get in line, I get on the mic, and I speak. How do I, I explained that, I've been working in the restaurant business. I'm at a point, I'm in a fork in the road where I know just enough real estate where I really feel like I can go out and do some damage, right? I could really go out and make some money, but I still feel obligated and a little bit of guilt ridden for being in the restaurant business and wanting to leave. And I asked, how do I leave my mom without feeling guilty? I was just like, I'm just like, like, right. I had this thought in my mind of burn the boats. If you ever heard that story of where they burned the boats,
So they don't have a chance to come back.
you don't have so they don't have a plan B, right? They don't have a safety net. And I'm like, well, how do you burn the boat where your mom's standing on it, right? And Dan Fleshman gets on the mic and he's just like, when the airplane and the air mask drops, you got to put yours on before you put anyone else's. Yeah. At that moment, I'm like, man, I really hate that answer. That it really didn't answer the question that I was looking for. But over time, I really figured out, like, he didn't really give me context, right? Which was like, I really need to prioritize myself.
Correct.
Right? It didn't mean I had to leave the business and leave mom on a burning boat.
Right.
That was my own thought. That was my own thought of what I had to do. It was more, no, no, no. I need to start creating a system of how I need to start creating boundaries, because in reality, most of us can't just leave a family member or a loved one to go off and do our own dreams. Be like, hey, sorry, hey,
Right.
hey wifey, you got to watch the kid. I'm gonna go create my own real estate dreams, and then I'll come back and get you. Right now, it's not, it's not realistic. So I think for most of us, we're in that same boat of just like, man, we have these obligations. We have maybe even a job that we're tied down to, or a family business that it's just, it's not really successful. It's struggling and they need your help. That, which was the boat that I was in. So it was about finding a way to be there for my family, but still prioritizing myself and my dreams. Because if I don't, no one else will.
Right.
So that was the turning point. And kind of fast forward, like a bad deal that went really bad um actually happened right after Squad Up Summit this year. Actually, I get back from Squad Up Summit, I have this pretty good deal, like 25K assignment. We're closing, title closes, everything, it actually closes perfectly fine. A week later, I get a call from the title officer, because I have a good relationship with them. To like, hey, who's the other wholesalers on the deal? And I had mentioned their name was Isaac Kim and Dominic Zuniga, and a potentially another person who I've never met. And she's like, "Oh my God, if I would have known, I would have never done the deal with you." I'm like, what's going on? It's like, well, BMO Harris, who happens to be Fidelity National's bank, flagged the deal as fraud. I'm like,
Oh crap.
what are you talking about? Like, we closed the deal, title cleared everything, right? Like, no, it's like, well, apparently they opened up a brand new bank account with BMO Harris, trying to cash out a bunch of cashier's checks to different people's names, which is
Mm,
not typical. It's not typical for businesses or real estate companies to just do that right away.
right.
And we asked the seller to come back in, or right, the wholesalers to contact the seller to come back in to verify their identity. And he kept telling me, "Oh yeah, well yeah, he'll come in, no problem. We got it. It's okay." And then we get in contact with the so and so seller, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm in Zimbabwe right now." I'm like, "Hey, 2 days later, you're in Zimbabwe
Well,
after
that's
you try to
horrible, I guess.
after you try to cash out a bunch of different checks," and it's just like, and I'm like, okay, I'm beginning to think this is completely fraud. So because of that, BMO Harris flagged it as fraud. They notified all the different banks that were also part of the transaction. Chase froze my account, and a month later they ended the relationship with me, so I can no longer bank with Chase anymore.
Well,
The
that sucks.
local wholesalers have ghosted. They will not pick up their phone. They will not respond to anything, and it's just like wow, 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 right?
Yeah.
Like
But you're
especially when
still standing, bro. You're still standing.
you still say, but and like typically it'd be like, wow, I'm out 25 grand. I just signed up for Owners Club. I have no clue where this money is going to come from. And I feel like if anyone else, they would have been like panic mode. It's like I need to cut off the bleeding. I need to get out. Like I can't. But with the frameworks that I developed, it was just like, you know what? This is part of it. This is part of life. Like shit's gonna happen. You're gonna fall into bad deals. You're gonna get people that rip you off. You're gonna get people that scam you. The question is, how do you bounce back?
Right.
What system in place do you have to get when you fall off track, right? We've had plenty of moments where we have plenty of motivation. We go to an event, we're pumped up, we're ready to keep going, right? But what happens when shit hits the fan? What happens when you fall off track? What happens when you're no longer motivated? How do you get back on the horse? What system do you have in place that gets you focused on what truly matters?
That's awesome, dude. So you talked about having process systems, how you try to share that knowledge with people. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you and take advantage of your system, or what if somebody wanted to try to partner with you? What are the things that you need or have that people can take advantage of?
One, reach out to me on all my socials. It's Jeff Ma Real Estate. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. You can find me on TikTok, but I'm not that active on TikTok. Like Facebook, Instagram, Jeff Ma Real Estate. Like, guys, this is super important, especially as entrepreneurs. Like, right, we're walking down a lonely path, and a lot of times we have support, right? We have fans in the crowd, right? People are like, hey, wishing you the very best, but a lot of us don't have people in our corner.
Right.
And this is one of those things that I really wish I would have had in the very beginning, because I joined a brokerage and it was just get to work, do open houses, do this, do that, do this, but no one was really guiding me of like who I needed to be. No one was really getting me to focus on what truly mattered, and also tying it down to my why. Well, why am I
Right.
doing all these things, right? It just felt like I'm doing all this work and I'm having no progress. And that's most of the time as an entrepreneur, you're going to have that a lot of times. You're trying this new lead gen strategy. You're trying all these new things and things don't seem to work. And you're like, you know what? I feel like this is why we go on to something new without having the perseverance to see something through.
Right. Absolutely.
So yes, if you're in a place where you don't have the right direction, or you're maybe overwhelmed and you're just like, I don't know what to focus on first, this is where a coach can help you. They're going to help you see something that you can't see because you're in the sauce. You're lost in the sauce. I'm out here on the side looking at the bowl that's holding you, right? And you need some outside perspective, right? Whether you have a coach, a mentor, you need people that can be in your corner, period.
100%, my brother. 100%.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, man, for coming out here, sharing that with me. Look, guys, if you're watching this and you don't have a system, you don't have a process, and you need somebody that's in your corner, reach out to my boy Jeffrey here. He told you how to get a hold of him. He's willing to help you to succeed. That's his goal in life. What was 1,000 people, 10,000 people was your goal?
10,000 real estate entrepreneurs, helping them create a life by design and not reaction, so they can be more effective and efficient with their time and energy.
You want to be one of those 10,000 people to help him reach his goal. So make sure you reach out to him. Jeffrey, thank you so much for being on the podcast, my friend. And until next time, we'll see you in the other, guys.